Hello everyone, this is Apostle Brookins.
Prophet Malik here.
And we just want to say thank you for your prayer requests, those who've sent in prayer requests, asking us to pray for your parents who are pastors who are sick, those who've sent in a prayer request. We had a prayer request from a young lady in college needing prayer for finances and to be able to graduate on time in 2020. So we are praying for you that God gives you the finances and releases you the favor that you need so you will graduate in 2020. Now, for those who want to send in prayer requests, where can they send them to?
You can send it to thefamilynetwork.us@gmail.com.
That is correct. On that note, if you want to sow a seed into the Family Network, remember our mission is to provide resources to other ministries that we're partnering with, that we're covering, families as well. You can send those proceeds or those seeds of love and generosity. You can send them to tfnglobal.org. That's our website. You can go to the page that says give, and you can sow that way. So please sow so we can be a support system for other ministries that are launching, that are dealing with church hurt, churches that are coming up and not knowing which direction to go but needing some support. So again, if you want to be a blessing to up and coming ministries that we're partnering with, again, you can send those proceeds, those seeds of love, again, to tfnglobal.org. Now, on that note, I'm here with my son and we just want to talk a little bit. God has been placing in my spirit when we're dealing with ministry and for pastors and fathers and husbands out there. Sometimes we don't take the time out to make sure we're the parents and the fathers that we should be with our children. So I have my son here because the Bible talks about it in Proverbs 22:6, to train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart. My son has been with me, of course, since his birth in ministry. He's been my armor bearer. He's still my armor bearer. He's in college right now. But every time I go out to minister, if he's available, he comes with me. We were in Chicago not too long ago. He was right by my side the whole way. Not only that, but he's gifted. I'm gifted. He's gifted. So he plays multiple instruments. And so when they don't have an organist that can flow or keyboards that can flow, he jumps right on, and he knows the way the Lord is leading me to go, and he flows with me. He prophesies. So I thank God the way that God has raised him up. And some of you have been asking myself and my wife, Prophetess Brookins, and you see how we're moving in ministry. And I put a post up not too long ago, and it talked about how people, they get jealous of you when they see you moving, but they were not there. And I gave the analogy of the butterfly. Many times the butterfly goes through the caterpillar state of being in a cocoon, and many people don't see the cocoon. They don't see where the cocoon is at. All they see is this beautiful butterfly with these colors that's flying past them, and they're in awe. And many people are in awe of where we are right now, but you are not there doing that journey nor that process. So I have my son here as a testament, so I just want him to share some of the journey that you've seen through ministry as a PK kid or just as a young man that you've seen myself, your mom go through. Anything you want to share, we just piggyback off that. In Chicago, then we transition here, and we're in Florida. So is there anything you want to share, whether it's easy, good, hard? These mosquitoes, I tell you, they're everywhere. Okay, that you want to share?
Well, what I can say is through the entire transition of us being in Chicago into moving here, it was hard and difficult to a point where it was we were in a hotel and we had to move equipment every week and bring it back in and set up and do things like that. But that was just the beginning, and just from that point to see how you and Prophet has grown, and you didn't you didn't conform to who you guys were. So even as we have grown in ministry, and as we come to Florida, and even as we occasionally minister in Chicago, I can still see the prophetic, the apostleship. Even though we go to Chicago and how traditional it can be, you don't conform to those ways, but you bring the new, the fresh that that we when we go back, that we see is needing and longing for the churches there, and as us even going back and forth there, just knowing how to operate as a child or under you guys, me and Melody, to be your right-hand man almost. Like you were saying, the armor bearer, make sure you have your drinks, making sure you're like prepared, you feel comfortable when you give the word, and even if the atmosphere isn't at where it's supposed to be, us being there to help, kind of shift the atmosphere and like play those like prophetic chords and things like that to, allow God's presence to come in. So just to see where we've come from to now has been like an amazing like transformation and a journey that, that I'm proud we've like able to be on and like come this far.
What would you say would be, and I'm grateful you shared that, so what would you say as a son, as a child in ministry that would have caused you to not want to continue in ministry? Because I know for myself growing up playing the drums, there was a point where I didn't want to play drums anymore. I was mad, I was frustrated at my dad, but he pushed me to continue to do that even in ministry. I could have went a different pathway, but I decided not to because of my desire to please God. So by you seeing us going into the hotel, you saw what happened as far as certain coverings or certain people or certain spiritual sons and daughters. You've seen everything. So by you seeing all that, what made you decide to continue on the path to, no matter what, serve, to armor bear, no matter what, to be available, no matter what, to continue to press and to play and to do what you believe God has called you to do, not just as our son, but as a prophet, as a man of God?
I feel like that starts with your own individual relationship with God. Because like for me, it's like, okay, that's fine. These are my parents. I want to help them out. But when I know who God is for myself, then it's like, okay, like I know He is the living God, and I want to serve, no matter the cause. And it's been like frustrating and hard because all your life growing up as a PK, you've been in church and you go to church every day of the week. And like you can get tired or get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm sick and tired of going to church. Like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I've done this. Or I could like say the excuses like, I don't need to go to church now. Like I did that growing up. Like I've been to church 24/7 every day of the week. So it's like knowing who God is for yourself, then you can be like, okay, I know who He is. He's living inside of me and I need to, continually to pursue Him. Yeah. So I think that's important. And speaking of that, even, and I'm speaking to dads now, I'm speaking to fathers, I'm speaking to those that are pastors, apostles, whatever your title is right now. Even for those moms who are praying, even as we're talking, and you're praying for your husbands that may be struggling with building that relationship with their sons or their daughters. It's very important, especially in this season, because we're losing so many of our children from ministry to the world. And one of the things that I personally, as a man and as a father, I had to break out of was not being able to express myself or show emotions or tell my children that I love them. That was hard for me because when I was young, I was taken advantage of. Things happened. I had walls built up even in my marriage. And some of that you may have been aware of or may not have been aware of, but it took me a moment until my son got a little older for me to really be able to love him as my son and to express my love for him, because I had a difficult time because of the bondage I was still in. And I'm speaking to the hearts of men right now that you have to break out of yourself. You got to deny your flesh. You got to come from a place of pride, because if you don't, you can lose your children, you can lose your marriage, you can lose your ministry, because this is your first ministry. Your family is your first ministry. When we came to Florida, the Holy Spirit told us from Chicago to Florida, we were coming to plant a church. But when we came to Florida, during the end of 2015, we didn't plant a church at all. What we wound up doing was planting our family, getting our children settled. We took these past few years to make sure the foundation was strong, our children were on track, my marriage was solidified, and now God has given favor and given us the release to move in different areas of ministry for His people. I think it takes a real a servant of God, man of faith, to hear when God says to shut it down, to hear when God says to stop, to hear when God says take a woosah, take a moment, take a sabbatical, take a season, because we're no good to the people. We can't minister to the people if we're bleeding. We can't minister to the people if we're hypocrites. We can't minister to the people if we're not being honest and we're flowing with the anointing. Gift come without repentance. We're all gifted. But if we're not honest with ourselves, when God tells us to sit down, to stop, to slow down, we're causing more damage than we are good. You agree? Yeah. So with that being said, and this is important, thank you, Holy Ghost. When we came to Florida, we had ministry in Chicago. We were planting churches. We were supporting other ministries. But when we came here,
we had that sabbatical. We had to make sure you guys were okay. How did us not flowing every week in ministry at that time affect you? What did you think about us not flowing the way we used to in ministry, not going to church every Sunday the way we used to, not having the people, the engagements? How did that affect you at all?
It was different, but I feel like it was like a good different, because at the same time it kind of gave us like the freedom to actually sit back and like relax and not have to do everything ourselves. So it was like good to just sit under a church and actually go to like a youth service and I not like have to lead the youth. So it was like good to sit under someone else and be a part of their ministry. And also just being a part of something bigger than what like I came from. So like I got to play keys in like a huge band and learn my craft from other people. So through that, it's like it was just a learning process and just growing.
One of the things the Holy Spirit had shared with me when we came to Florida, and he had me shut everything down, and we set for these 3 years. The Holy Spirit shared with me that I'm going to accelerate you and your family to the point where what would have taken you 10 years or 15 years to learn on your own, because of your faithfulness and your obedience to do what I've asked you to do, it's going to accelerate and be within these 3 years. So literally what would have taken us 15 years to do was all done in 3 years because of our obedience to not move forward in disobedience. And I think that is so important nowadays for pastors and for husbands and for leaders to understand. You're not losing time, you're not losing ground. Matter of fact, you're saving time. You're accelerating yourself if you're obedient to what God has called you to do. Remember, one day to us is, but yet 1,000 years to us is just one day to God. So you're not losing time. God is putting time on our side because He holds time. And I think that's important moving forward. And I thank you for being here with me to do this for families and for for mosquitoes. But last question I want to ask you.
Okay.
If you had an opportunity to do it all over again, what would you change? Yeah, I know that was gonna get you. You seen what we went through in ministry. You saw some of the wickedness, and this is real talk. You saw some of the hurt. You saw us cry. You saw us get cars repoed. You saw us lose jobs. You saw us have to go on welfare. You saw us have to lose our home. We went to a hotel. We had to live with people, and we will not forget those who supported us through this journey, even these past 3 years. So if you had an opportunity to do any of it over again, would you? Why or why not? I'll give you one of those college questions.
Why or why not? Man. It's hard. I looking back, I feel like a lot of people would be like, yes, I would do this, this, and this, and that. But honestly, I don't think I would change anything, because everything that happened played a humongous role into making our character who we are today, and making our story what it is now. Because now we can look back and say, it was a struggle. We didn't get here like easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but it was like, God kind of like, took us out, put us through some stuff, put us through the battlefield, and now we came out and now we're here. So I don't think I would change. It was hard, but we made it through.
To whom much is given, much is required. Romans 8:28, which is one of my most favorite scriptures. All things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. So you're right. It had a purpose for everything that me and your mom went through, you went through, you and Mother went through, our whole family went through, what we went through individually, because God was strengthening our individual characters as well as our family unit. Yeah. Because one of the things, going back to Genesis, the enemy hates families. And he hates the fact that God established His relationship with man, and he was left out. So he's coming to still kill and destroy, but God sent Jesus that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So I think what we have to continue to do is pray for families, pray for those in leadership, pray for the pastors, husbands and wives who are taking on those roles, But also to encourage you, it's okay to take a moment to spend with your family, to make sure your sons and daughters who you're leaving your heritage to are in place. They have their right mind. They understand who God has called them to be, because that's going to be important moving forward for not only you, but also for your legacy. So on that note, again, if this has been a blessing to you, send us your emails at thefamilynetwork.us@gmail.com. You can also sow a seed into the ministry so that we may continue to partner with other churches, be a covering for them, be a support system for families. And you can do that also here on Instagram, Facebook. You can also go to tfnglobal.org. That's our website to sow as well. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. Listen, if you're in the Orlando area, beginning of this year, we're going to be launching some other things. We want you to be connected with us. So if you're in the Orlando area and you're interested in being a part of what we're going to launch come the beginning of the year, please reach out to us so we can connect. We'll give you more information before we make it public. So again, if you're in the Orlando or the Orlando surrounding areas of Florida, reach out to us as soon as you're able to so we can give you more information about what God has given us to do for the city. Until next time,
see you guys later.
Be blessed.